Voilà. Et voilà.
Hello, hello.
Bonjour, Astrid.
Bonjour. How you doing?
I'm good. I
Good.
love how we feel springtime.
Spring is sprung and
Yes. Thank you for being here, everybody. We are
Yes.
little.
tardy today, but it's all good. We're following our intuition today.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're
That's what we're
talking
talking about off camera. But yes, here we are back again. Who's joined? Is that Karen?
We are seeing Karen for
Yeah,
you.
Karen. Yeah, welcome, Karen. How you doing? All right, so today we are talking about auras, what
Yes.
auras are. And this is kind of along the lines, I think we put aura / into ESP. Because as we talked last week, depending on if you're clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant, how you're going to read or pick up energy. We all have the capacity, right? It's within us. So,
Yes.
so
To pick up the, it's all electromagnetic field.
we all have an electromagnetic field, and
Yes.
people don't realize how big it is.
Yes.
When people think of their energy, they just think of their shell and just like right here and around here. But it stretches an arm's length. It's big. It's a huge, big. I think of a giant egg, and you're sitting in the
Yes.
middle of it. And it reminds me of, remember Michael Jackson when he lived in that bubble?
Oh.
Part of his thing, he was a little loopy a little bit, but his concept was correct because he was trying to protect his energy
He
field.
was predicting his space and
Yeah,
all
so
that.
putting himself in that bubble was saying, I don't want your negative, I don't want your dark energy permeating. So
Yes.
so
And we have nice. I'll show you the book,
Yes.
but we find a good
article.
who really goes through different questions that
Yes,
we can
yes.
give
this one-
our
input on it.
Input.
So, what exactly are auras? This is from healthline.com. As human beings, we radiate a very low level of electricity that's otherwise known as our electromagnetic field, says Christina Lonsdale, a Portland-based artist behind a popular aura photography practice called Radiant Human.
Yes.
Ancient system of medicine, such as Hindu scriptures like the Vedas, believe that this energy is expressed in 7 layers. Each layer is said to correlate to a different element of your physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional health. It's thought that these layers interact with one another to influence your overall health. So bottom line, chakras, the minute she said seven layers, we actually have more than 7, but it connects with each of the auras, connect with the different systems.
I think the layer she said it's different thing for her. After I think she links aura, like you said, to the colors and
Because they
and
correspond to the
chakra.
chakras. Yeah.
Yes,
Have you ever had an aura reading done?
I did few things. No, one of what I did in a massage convention. This woman, like her, probably had a photo, and you see more of your colors, and it comes out.
Yes. That's what she does.
That's what she does now.
So
I
there's
just
special photography that can pick up.
Yes. And I don't remember exactly what was my color because, as she says, your color can change. I mean, it
Yes,
depends on
yes.
how you feel, basically.
Yes.
But it was nice. And now they do it. I just remember.
The iris. Yes, looking in the eye. Yeah.
Eyes,
That's
so-
what we did at the retreat
Exactly.
on the Saturday. That's what
why I brought it
the young
up.
lady we had.
At your retreat, yes.
I had mine done in
So did you?
Sedona, near Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yes.
And it was amazing because it was interesting because it tied back to my astrology. I've always talked about how I'm just water and fire. I'm like water and fire. Those are the thing. So my aura was like blues and reds and yellows. I had no greens. I didn't have purple. It was so dominating. And I was like, as I looked back now, I was like, oh my God, it was literally tapping into my astrological disposition too. Like you're Sagittarius. I had 4 planets in Sag. So I had a lot of red, which meant grounding, but her thing with me was like I didn't have a lot of the upper chakra stuff. I had blue. I talk for a living, so blue was dominant and red, but like yellow was missing, orange was missing, and so like you said, it was a point in time.
Yes.
And
how did she do? I'm sorry, I didn't. How did she
I did.
read you?
It was a picture. I did two.
Okay.
I did two different types there. I had a photo taken.
Okay.
I did the photo style. Hey, Steve. Evie Beauty is in the house.
Yes, Steve. Hi. And it's hard for me to read. Sorry, Callie. Yes. Yes.
But I had two. So I had the machine at the photography. So the photo shows you clearly what's going on. But I had someone read my energy, and she picked up the exact same thing.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So it was like you say, in that moment of time where I was at. But also Sedona is very grounding and healing. The red rock in Sedona literally connects with your root chakra. So it's one of the vortexes, like we love Joshua Tree.
Yes, I need to go to Sedona. Whoever.
So Sedona, that red rock instantly grounds and it connects with the chakra. So I feel like auras are, what do you call it? Increased or strengthened by your environment, right?
And again, supporting what we just started with, it's your electromagnetic field.
Yes,
which,
yes.
We are connected to the earth. So wherever you did your, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wherever maybe you would do a reading of your aura could be a little different than if you do it in Europe or here, or you know what I mean, or another continent, and where you're at in your life. It's all about that as well.
And you have to keep checking in, like seasonally, monthly, like if you're passing through things, like when you get blood work done, it's in a 3-month block. And then so the thing is, you get those measurements, and then you have 3 months to fix it. Like you can go back in 1 month, you're not going to see the change. So like anything else,
takes some time, of course.
We're constantly shifting every day, right?
Yes.
So it says, what do the different aura colors mean? General interpretations by shamans and practitioners suggest the following: red is well-grounded, energetic, strong-willed; orange, adventurous, thoughtful, considerate; yellow, creative, relaxed, friendly; green, social, communicative, nurturing; blue, intuitive, spiritual, free thinker; indigo, curious, spiritually connected, gentle; violet, wise, intellectual, independent. So I think when you get an aura reading, just because you're not seeing those come up in your particular reading doesn't mean they don't exist. But it's almost like these are either I've learned with the chakras, working with the chakras, it can go either way. So if red comes forward, it could mean your chakra, you need to focus on it, or it could mean you're good, it's strong. So depending, it goes back to how you're feeling. So if you're feeling off and red comes through and you just feel unbalanced, it means that red is coming through because you need to focus on it.
Exactly. And again, it's very interesting. Like she uses a special type of camera.
Yes.
We were saying, like you and me, I don't perceive colors. It's not what I'm looking for. But we have different ways of perceiving. Like she's using a camera, but still we will go through it. The way another person radiates their energy field, that's how you can perceive with your natural senses, or with your extra sensory perception that you have more. Some people can hear things more because maybe they use, a musician is more feeling maybe a vibrational sound of someone, have fun with it, I was going to say. Don't try to see a color.
But I'm thinking about you and the work that you do as a body worker and cranial sacral. You may not see the color blue, let's say, but something leads you to with your hands, so you're picking up. You're not seeing the blue, but say when you're working on someone says focus here on the neck or the shoulder area, which would be blue, right? So I think that because you sense, so you might, for one client, you might spend a lot of time on their feet and their legs, like, so you let that guide you, so you are tapping into the color. You're not seeing it, but you are tapping into it.
And what is very interesting is again, supporting what you say, I feel with my whole body and mainly my hands, I'm going to those energy centers that most of the time are more like in need of something.
Yes.
And sometimes I ask the person who's getting a session, how do you feel? And they're using other senses to describe their sensation. And that's what the beauty is.
Yes.
Some people feel, or I would say you see the colors. Some people will describe that moment with a color. Some people will describe that
when you
moment.
touch me here, I saw a bunch of...
And I love it because, like you say, I didn't see that color, but they're saying, they're seeing something. Or they would use another sense. They would smell maybe something. Or they will hear something. So that's the beauty of all of it.
That's the beauty of it all.
Yes.
And I was reading on the Reiki book last night, she was saying that some people freak out, like, just because you can't see colors, like I said, doesn't mean it's not happening.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, one of the things in your electromagnetic field and this whole thing about aura and energy is like, that it's there, it's just dormant, just because we're so used to our eyes and believing like if we don't see it, snap, crackle, pop, we can't use our five senses to connect with it, that it doesn't exist, you know?
Again, at some point she says, actually,
our aura is real.
Science,
our aura is real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is right up my alley because I love science and I love psychobabble.
We do.
It creates a balance. So I don't sometimes just read a spiritual book and run off. I want to see kind of data. Though no scientific studies exist to prove the existence of auras, many practices and philosophies do believe that they are real. However, the interpretation of what aura actually is may vary among practices and philosophies. I know that color and auric energy is huge in feng shui. A feng shui, practitioner will come into your house and they will feel the aura of the home. They will feel the energy of the home. So, and sometimes it's like whether science believes it or proves it or not doesn't mean it's not real.
And she says the tools to read all of these is only coming now with quantum physics.
Quantum physics is supporting it,
we are supporting more of those energy field and vibrations and all of this that even me, I was sensing things when I went to massage school that I didn't understand. I say that many times, but it's true because it was not proven. I came from a rational background where everything needs to be proven with science and tools. And that's the beauty. They are seeing that feng shui, all those ancient medicine
practices,
are finally getting data and being proven and being supported.
Well, a theory is, Big Pharma doesn't want us to know about this stuff. Because if you could just sit under a red light, like red light therapy is taking off.
Yes.
In certain cultures, red light therapy is nothing new. And we were talking about Finland and Sweden and other countries. They've always used red light. It's nothing new. But it's like Big Pharma doesn't want us to tap into the natural holistic practices because they'd be afraid they'd be out of business. But it's sad because they have the technology to help us grow and expand on this. So instead of going into fear and say, okay, great, now let's take, if you're saying mint and sage and this combination will help people heal, instead of moving in that direction because it's not cost effective. So it's interesting.
It's always coming back to the same.
And
we used all those things before.
Yes.
Like we said last time with medicine woman, witches, and medicine man, and we taken it away. The good news, it's coming back
because nothing is ever new. They say like everything always comes full circle. We're going back to our ancestors' time. Hallelujah! And this is part of the shifting of the earth. Like this is what I love. This is why I go back to astrology. We're finally by the end of the year we'll be in the age of Aquarius. This is what Aquarius brings: technology, innovation, free thinking, getting rid of the old paradigm, like the way we thought. They thought the world was flat.
Yes.
So we're finally over that. But also, she says here, a way to think of auras is the energy that someone around you emits.
Yes.
So Dr. I forgot her first name, my apologies, Swarma, she's an East Indian, oh my God, amazing neuroscience, and she's got letter after letter after her name, but she talked about like hormones secrete through our skin. So she said what they're finding out is that cortisol goes through our sweat glands. So someone says like, we're just sitting here, we're not sweating per se, right? But her work shows, she goes, here's an idea. If you weren't wearing deodorant, I could still smell it because your body is still leaking out. So if you work in a toxic environment and with someone that's stressful and you're not, that cortisol is going to leak into your aura field. So that's why when people work with crazy bosses, crazy jobs, or highly stressed environments, the science is showing that seeps into you. So you're like, how can I get forward? So you go to work and you're just like, okay, today is a good day. I'm in a good mood. But think about it, if they're negative energy, so that's why if you have a crazy boss, it directly affects and leaks down into the team, into the business. So then you definitely have to have your personal practices strong in order to try to navigate them, or you just need a new job.
Yes.
You know?
And it will come to that. You need to learn all those tools we show to clean yourself, to cleanse, to smudge, to really clear your own field and make it sacred again. And it's hard, it's hard. We working, touching people, I know sometimes if I don't do enough of my good routine for myself, I pick up, it's normal, we pick up on others, it's natural, we pick up on other emotions, so your family, your partner, your child. Learn, that's all those to learn to reset.
But it's something simple like even selenite. Just taking selenite and running across or holding selenite instantly. You go back to the simple things. A stick of Palo Santo, it clears the energy.
And do your meditation, your little moment of a mantra. So all of this together help you even through the day. I do it through the day, at least 2-3 times through the day. I take that minute for myself.
Yes.
Because I've learned that's the only way. Otherwise, the traffic would make me mad.
You're like, you're driving. The
other day I nearly lost it again. And I'm so peaceful, and this person, I'm sorry.
Los
let's
Angeles,
not get into
Los Angeles won't let you
traffic
be
and
like
craziness.
when you can master it. Let me know.
I know,
but
I the only way I master is really resetting myself many times in the car. I mean, otherwise, no, I'll be somewhere, I don't know.
Or make light of it anyway.
So, but it's a good
Our
example
aura is the same thing
auras.
as vibes. And she says, kind of. Vibes are short for vibrational frequency, which is what aura is comprised of. So it's like, he says, he's good vibes. I like the vibe in here. So we all know it. This is almost just like semantics. When you walk into a room, people say, it feels really good in there. They're tapping in the vibrational energy of that room and that space, In
a good way, we all do it. That's why we all are using those more senses and extrasensorial senses. And the more you develop it, it's really helpful. And, it's really helpful. And that's when you realize, look how you were when you were a child. I realized naturally I had this gift of reading a room, of being with a lot of people, because again, I grew up in a bar. My parents owned a bar, a tobacco, a place where from when I was born, I was with a lot of people around me and different styles. So look what,
and that was your survival too. Your intuition was like guiding you, like about the patrons
the patrons, how they felt. I had to be careful with some people, and I think so as a child we all develop, we all actually are very perceiving our natural gift, like you were saying. As a child, look how you felt as a child, and that is your natural gift already.
Go back to that. You
Yes.
know, when kids say, when
Yes.
children, now they're realizing children that said they have an imaginary friend.
Yes, yes.
And for them, it's real. They're like, no, my friend's right here. And now they're saying that probably was a spirit. They actually were able to talk to spirits. So the parents that embrace it says, oh, whether they believed it or not.
Yes.
But if they supported it, you know, but mostly it got fear-based. And then it gets to a point, I was hearing a thing like, when you have an infant and we hear the word no, I think they said 80% of the time when we're young children, and less affirmative. So it's like we hear more negative, don't do this, put that down, da, 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 da.
Yes.
That's 80% all we hear all day long. But they're like, if you had a baby, you like, and the baby threw something on the ground, you don't expect the baby to know. Then they become a 1-year-old, they throw something on the ground, you're like, still a 1-year-old, you don't expect them to change. At 2, they throw something on, you're like, at 4, you're like, now you should know better. See, this is what we do to children. This is what we do to ourselves. And
we do to ourselves even as an adult. Yes.
We put these time frames about, but we understand that there's a developmental piece. But whenever it always comes back to Katya, the full circle. If we don't see it, we just don't effing believe it. And people have straight up miracles in their lives. People know someone that had a miraculous healing just by laughing. You know, we've heard the stories. People laugh. They had a cancer diagnosis. They laughed. They went, that's vibrational medicine. You know, but again, somehow we then move off of that and go right back to our old rote habits of not believing.
It's complicated. A lot of time I think about that. The whole society doesn't support your self-healing in that sense.
Yes.
The whole society from school, there's still a lot of things taught in a and not to criticize. I'm not judging. Taught or not taught. Exactly. I would more say actually that's a good point. Not taught in school. They're coming with that now. They need lately with what happened the last few years, mental support for the kid. And of course as a parent, we have to be supporting all of that.
Yeah.
So, but the society, a lot of time we were rebel because from a young age I didn't like what I hear. It was not vibrating with me. But as a child, you have to be in a lot of boxes. So try to be free of those judgment, of those beliefs, and find your own, because that's how we heal. I mean, I had to break the hardest year of my life. I had to go through all my belief and break down things that was not resonating, and I was like, why am I not feeling? Yeah,
it wasn't true,
and it's hard.
Yeah,
but that's all these. Then it's become easier and easier to support your self-healing, to support feeling another person. I love how I sense other people. I mean, I always give a second chance, because I'm like, maybe I was wrong because I didn't feel that person.
Maybe I was
the
off.
more I do it, the more I realize I'm not so off.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the opposite. But it's so true. I mean, my passion for all of this is that we are amazing.
Yes.
We are amazing. And it's so frustrating. People get so locked into just the physical plane. This shell is 10% of who we are. 90% of who we are we cannot see. But I get so excited about this. I love the human development and the paths that we are on, you know, like, and it's nice the pandemic opened up people's minds. There were people that never even took a nature walk, and then now they're like, oh, I'm out of nature, and it feels good because nature has energy.
Yes.
Right? And so it's like, I feel like that was such a great time. When I was working at the crystal store, oh my God, it was packed because people were now looking finally outside of the physical thing. It's like they wanted relief and help. So the crystal business went through the roof from 2020 to about 2022 and a half. By then, and then people were back, they're moving back onto their stuff, but people were looking for something outside of their norm.
We're going to your whole environment, and we have few bodies actually, this physical, but
we have 10 bodies,
emotion,
10 energetic bodies,
spiritual, and we are in sync with this planet. We have to we have to be knowing that it's like this,
We're not
the earth is,
disconnected. We're part of it.
the
Yeah.
vibration of the earth is changing. We think we are so good, we are resilient, we have to change with it. So less resistance. It's all of these, you know.
Well, we are still the greatest computer ever made. So there's AI, which I love. I welcome AI, I welcome technology, because it's a tool. It's another tool. So again, it's going to serve us. But just know we are magic.
Yes.
And it's such a gift to be a human. Otherwise, you might as well just be a frog and just ribbit, and hop around. But we've been so blessed. So that's on my soapbox today, that we truly are magical. And
Yes.
our purpose here on this planet is get to know thyself. And that just not means it's like your whole, your mental, your physical, your emotion, your psychic. Let's talk about this book, because I'm going on a tangent.
I love it. It's all connected. We're having a conversation,
Yes.
and we love our conversation. Actually, before that's why we're late, because
this is
we
why-
were talking.
But this is why we do this work, because
I
it's like
love
I just
it. We sharing.
so gets disheartened. It's like we have and these practices go back ancient.
So
you know?
again, this is an amazing book. It's called Hands on Light.
Yes.
They had this cool. Barbara and Brennan, and it's called Healing Through the Human Energy Field. This book is from the 70s.
Yeah, I have one too,
And
like,
it's
an
old, so I'm
amazing
sorry,
book.
but already they, at the time, they draw how they starting wanting to explain the energy field, the auras, the colors. This woman was so ahead of her time.
Yeah.
And I look at this book often, how you cut energy and cords and all of that. And look, at the time, no computer. I love the drawing, because those drawings are from those time. It's just
They were
beautiful.
translating what they saw and felt. And that's what I love about yoga. That's what blows my mind. Like, from 5,000 years ago, how did a yogi know if you went, it would affect this organ, this gland, this body part? And it's like the yoga asanas were created, and I guess it was just testing and learning. And it's like sometimes we're afraid to even try something. Like we've always talked about, develop the tools that work for you.
Yes.
And in order to get your toolbox, what works for you, you have to play and explore different things. So life is an exploration, and we're never done healing.
No.
We will, as long as you take your breath each day, you're a human. You will always needing to heal.
And we are discovering new things. What is amazing still is, the Chinese ancient medicine, acupuncture, all of that, it was based on those energies they felt 3,000 years ago. And I still have people, which it's fine, they say, oh, if you do acupuncture, you have to believe. No, it's not a belief. Where they put those needles, this is years and years, 3,000 years of finding pathways.
That meridian,
pathways, to the body. Not being the anatomical way only, where they open a dead body and they see more like where is the blood is from. How did they know where to put the needle? Practice. They find ways. They find that if I put few needles here, it's going to help with your migraine. If I put few needles here. For me, when I started acupuncture, I never tried before. I had as well kind of, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, guess what? Do few sessions, because we can be
try
resistant.
something one time, it's like, it didn't work for me.
Because we are resistant.
After 40
because
years on the planet.
We don't want to know or believe if that works. I was sleeping, because it was about insomnia. I started sleeping, and this acupuncturist was from China. I had all the knowledge they passed on to generation, but he was an orthopedic surgeon. So he mixed the modern medicine with the exactly.
Hallelujah.
And it was
East meets West.
Resonated.
Always.
I mean, he was able to know if your ankle was broken, but he was able to do acupuncture. And I use an acupuncture, by the way, in Tours. His name is Ang Vimol. He's a psychiatrist psychologists, acupuncturists.
Well,
And
Nadia with the flower apothecary, she's a psychologist, but she created flower remedies because she got tired of the Western medicine and pulling those together.
But those men, actually, there was 2 men who used acupuncture, the one in Tours and here. What I love and how I went to all of this is because they combine actually their ancient medicine knowledge with the modern knowledge. Because being a psychiatrist, he had to use as well pills and medicine. But the way he did the acupuncture for my emotions was beautiful because he was able to explain me from 2 different perspectives.
Acupuncture though looks at the whole person,
exactly,
and they look at you as an individual.
Yes,
the flow that he used on you, he would not be using on somewhere else. But I do think
but he used psychiatric perspective.
No, but for you, I'm saying he looked at you, Katya.
Yes.
You go to the doctor now, it's conveyor belt. It's what does the guy say? He goes, it's diagnose and adios.
Yes.
They got you in and out in seconds.
But in his practice, he used both.
No, but I'm saying, but it was both on what you need.
Oh, yes, of course.
If I went to see him, he would do, because of my emotions, my background, he would use a different pattern.
Yes.
Western medicine won't look at the whole individual.
Yes.
They just cookie cutter. If you and I went to the same doctor, they come in, right, take off the list, do a blood, da-da-da.
Yes, it's
but
a
also,
but you can find people who combine.
Yes,
that's
yes,
the
yes,
good
yes,
news
yes,
as
yes,
well. I mean,
yes.
I need that. You need that.
No, absolutely.
You're the same. Like when you went to see a doctor last time, you say if they don't have this thing where you feel you're a whole person, it's hard for me.
Well, what I've had to do is I have a Western doctor, and I always my naturopath is the oracle. So I just like you have to go through Western and combine. But also, Katya, you do have to believe it. I was just reading this in my Reiki book. They're saying somebody said, "Oh, Reiki didn't work for me." You have to be open and receptive to the sign. You can literally block it. So if you go in resistance to, since we're talking about acupuncture and the needles, and you're like going cynical, right, whatever. My wife wanted me to get this done. I'm just going to get it done. Let's get this over with. It won't
work.
You'll be better off for it. But to some degree, you have to be open and receptive to it.
Yes, and it took me a few sessions, but already the first because I was open. That's why any work we do, acupressure you do, or you train your sacral, some people come and because their husband or their wife bought them the session, and but there's still something happening,
and that's okay.
It's
okay to have a question mark. If you've never done it before, of course you have a question. The main thing people say, "Oh, I don't know how to relax. I'm not gonna when they get on the table." And I just smile. They go, "I have a hard problem relaxing." And then my point is like, "Well, that's why you're doing this." But sure enough, if they surrender, most people go to sleep.
Yes,
when they surrender.
And the beauty of it, please ask us question. For me, I love first timer. I love first timer because there's something starting to happen, and if they don't come back, it's because it was not that path with me, with that therapist, with whoever. But most of the time, when you open a question, you'll see what happened to your physical, emotional, spiritual body. Something is in there.
Yeah, and if they trust the process, it's like. That's why I say whenever I'm working on someone, I always just feel grace because strangers allow me to move about their bodies and they don't know me, but you and I think we do a good job of creating a safe space because it's so passionate, it's so true for us that you know what I'm saying? So probably need to start to wrap this up, my dear. Let's see.
And that's all it is.
Does everyone have an aura? Yes, every human has an energy field around them. Even plants, this and that. What does an aura look like? Depends on how you capture it. And then what was her final?
Cleanse. Final is cleansing.
Yeah.
Clean. Look at our previous talk. Look at some previous exercises. Come to our full circle.
Yes.
Practice.
Practice. Progress, not perfect. Practice makes progress.
Thank you. Next live in May. May 1st.
Wow. May 1st. Wow.
Next full circle, May 9th.
May 9th. Nice.
I can't believe we are in May.
That's what when you said May 1st, I was like, ah. Yeah,
Thank
this year
you.
is flying by. So,
Thank you.
before we go, how did you do with the eclipse? How did you feel? Good. Like we're out of Mercury retrograde right now. Hallelujah. However,
yes,
there is still the post shadow that's going on, but I felt like Mercury retrograde came and went so fast.
Yeah, it was
this
fast.
time.
There was too little. It's funny, I didn't realize, and then there was too little electronic email messages that didn't go through. I was like, what?
Yes.
But
and someone showed, like, I sent you a text, and you're like,
yes,
it's not on my phone. Yes. This was happening. Mercury retrograde is
I can't believe it happened to me, which I'm still skeptical for those things. And I know she didn't receive my text. And
you're like, I know I sent it. You see it sent, gone. And then she's saying it's not there. So many people reported this happening. You know, most often you know, or computer, like my computer was acting weird and slow, and I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's? And I was like, oh, Mercury. And then I just surrendered to it. It just took a little bit longer, and I had to circumvent. But yeah, we are out of Mercury retrograde.
And maybe it's another subject, but the eclipse for me, okay, to summarize, it open again, it says new adventures. That was my word. And I kept on saying it the whole week.
Yes.
Blessed, I had a client that day, a patient, and we stand up together. We put those glasses. I look at it with her. It was magical.
I saw a little bit here, but I watched on Time did a live thing. Seeing the flares, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh! And Ed's like, what happened? Is everything okay? And I was just, it was like, I literally had to pull myself away, but I watched it go from Mexico to Texas. Again, this is why technology is so beautiful. Yes. It was live. Time on YouTube was running it live. So I saw it in Mexico. It went through Texas. It went up through the Midwest. And then I had to go get stuff done.
Yes.
I literally could have watched, but it was amazing how it affected. And one of the things in Texas, they had clouds. So a lot of people were bummed, like, oh my God, it's cloudy. I'm not going to be able to see it. But the meteorologist and the astronomer said it worked out perfectly because right before the eclipse, the clouds, literally like the fog kind of moved away. But the fog helped because they could get a clear shot of Venus. So not only did they see the eclipse, and you watch the sky go, it went completely dark. I was like losing my mind. I was so cool.
We didn't get, we got partial.
We got partial
joke,
here.
Remember what I said? The sun looked like a croissant.
Because we got the crescent, we only got to see the crescent on the west.
And the croissant got bigger and thicker. And then the moon went from, like the sun, the moon went away from the left side. It was from 1 hour. You can really, the movement was pretty obvious.
My thing is, so as I'm watching this, it's the teacher and the cynic and the spiritual in me. And I'm like, so many people from around the world went to Texas, flew there, went to Maine to see it, and different parts. And it's like, so they do get that planetary energy affects us on Earth. Eclipses are about going within and discovering about yourself, and also awakening to the truth about yourself. And I'm like, how many people are they just going to just say, I saw the eclipse? But did they really Google what does it do for me emotionally, energetically, this eclipse?
Even the, like you say, the the people who work in NASA, they feel all those electromagnetic fields.
Yes.
So how do you take it more inward? It's up to each
individual. Yes. I love these talks.
Thank you. We're having
so
fun
much for tuning
doing our
in
talk
today. Hope you have a good week ahead.
Yes, thank you.
And we will see you on our next live on May 1st, followed up by the full circle on the 9th. Thank you so much for tuning in. And namaste.
À bientôt.